Alright, so here's a good question. What can you expect if you happen to break down on Angeles Crest or Angeles Forest Highway? Because I found that out firsthand Friday of last week. Uh, what happens? I've been driving that road for like 15 years, and last Friday was the first time that I had a catastrophic failure, and by that I mean a failure where you can't obviously keep driving your vehicle. So not like a flat tire, because a flat tire you can still keep going. You might damage the vehicle, but you can still worst case get to where you need to go. But what if you lose all power, your engine, or in my case you have a transmission issue where the car won't drive? Well, I used to think if it ever happens to me, I just call AAA and wait for a tow. Well, it's not that simple, especially when you realize that the majority of that area has no phone reception. So what then, especially if you're by yourself like I was last Friday? So after my car broke down and I had to pull over on the side of the road, I, with no phone reception, couldn't even get through to 911. Nothing, no emergency services. So I had to try to flag a car down for help. First two cars drove by. The first one was some elderly couple that acted like they didn't even see me. The second guy I tried to wave down, he actually waved back and kept driving. So eventually a young girl stopped and asked me if I was okay, and I told her yeah. I told her what had happened and asked her if she had reception by any chance on her phone. She said she didn't, unfortunately. She was nice enough to offer me a ride to at least an area where I would get reception. Very brave of her to do that. But as she was offering that, another car stopped by with a young couple, and they were very nice. They asked me, if I was okay, what had happened. I told them, and they offered me a ride to. They were headed to the 14 freeway or that area. So I said, sure. If you guys don't mind leaving me at like a gas station or something where I can at least call AAA, and it would be easier for AAA to find me. So first, you're gonna have to find a way to either start walking or flag down a ride to get to where your phone might work. So, if you're a guy, it's a lot of enthusiasts that drive by there. It was a pretty quiet day. There was not a whole lot of traffic. So maybe another car guy will see you and give you a ride. But if you're, let's say, if you're a girl, especially a young girl, and you break down on that road, it can be pretty scary, because you know how many crazies are out there and to try to find a ride. So I hope it doesn't happen to any of you ladies out there. But I got lucky and I found, a nice couple of people that gave me a ride. So once I got to the gas station by Palmdale or in Palmdale, I thought it would be as simple as calling AAA and getting a tow truck. Now I'm gonna compress my story because I told this before and it took like half hour. So I don't think you want to watch this video for half an hour. But long story short, because I left my car on Angeles Forest and traveled to Palmdale, it made a mess of things, because a lot of AAA agents on the phone don't seem to be the brightest individuals. I'm sorry, but the ones I spoke to that day were not that helpful. The first one dispatched a tow truck to me. It took the tow truck just over an hour to get to my location. When the tow truck got there, The driver acted surprised that my car wasn't there, so AAA did not communicate to him that I was not with my car, and I did tell the AAA over the phone that I had to leave my car a few miles back. That tow truck driver called his boss, and his boss gave me a BS story that he could not, that he didn't have a permit to send his trucks up Angeles Forest. I later learned that's baloney. You don't need a permit to get up there. He simply just didn't want to go that far to go get my car. A lot of tow truck companies don't like towing sports cars as it is because it's a liability. They don't want to damage your vehicle. So they didn't want to go get my car. So I had to wait for another tow truck company. The second tow truck company told me that they service Angeles Crest, but not Angeles Forest Highway, where my car was. So they couldn't go get me. The third company said that they were too busy, that they didn't know why AAA had AAA. The third company, AAA, gave me their number, and they say double check that they can go get your car. And when I called it, the guy acted like he didn't know what the hell was going on, and he said, "Oh, I'm busy. My driver's busy. I can't go get your car. Plus, we have a policy of no passengers." So at this point, I've been waiting over 3 hours, and I called AAA back. I told them, "Look, man, I'm getting upset. I've been here way too long. I need some answers. I need someone to go get my car." So the AAA agent tells me if I can find a way to get to my car, and they offered me credit for Lyft, the driving service. They said, "We can get you a Lyft driver. You can head back to your car and leave your keys under the floor mat, and then head home, and eventually we'll find a tow truck to come tow your car. You just got to give us permission to tow your car without you there." So I said, "Let me get this straight. You want me to go to Angeles Forest Highway, 10 minutes away from Palmdale, Crackhead Central, leave my car unlocked with the keys in it, and to go home, and to who knows when the tow truck will get there, let them tow my car on their own?" I said, you must be smoking crack." So he's like, "Well, let me see what I can do." So at this point, I'm there over 3 hours. I'm getting frustrated. I Ubered to Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and I was about to rent a car to go back to my car, get a GPS location for it using Google Maps, and that's a point I'll bring up right now, so I can at least give AAA or a company a pinpoint location of exactly where my car is, so they can come tow my car, and then I can drive home in the rental, but I can at least be there while they tow my car. So while I am literally inside of Enterprise to rent a car, I get a phone call from the second tow truck company, who told me they felt bad for me that I was waiting there for so long, and that they were going to send a driver to go get my car for me in Angeles Forest, even though they didn't service that area, because they're off of the 210 freeway, and I was closer to the Palmdale side of the mountain. They said, "All you got to do is get to your car. If you can meet my driver there, we'll tow you home." So what I did is I went on Uber, and fortunately there's a campsite near where my car broke down, and I entered that in my Uber. So I got an Uber as if I was going to that campsite. Now, it was only about 15 miles away, but that ride cost me like $47. At this point, I didn't care. I just needed to get to my car so I can get it towed, and I just wanted to get home. So fortunately, the Uber driver was cool. I told him what was up. I said my car should be on the highway before we get to the location that I entered on Uber. And he said no problem. And by the time we got to my car, Crescenta Valley Towing, their driver was already there. And I got fortunate. The guy was super cool. He knew that road. He didn't mind going. Loaded up my car, no problems. Knew how to load it up, no damage. Great guy. Loved his job. Loves towing. I'll probably tag him on this video because he gave me his Instagram. Super cool guy. Loves his job. Did a great job. But long story short, by the time I got home, it was 5 o'clock. So I broke down just after 11 a.m. and I didn't get an actual tow truck near my car until after 3 p.m. and I got home by, after 5. It was a 96-mile tow because we had to get my car, keep going up the 14 because you can't really just bust a Huey on that road with a big old tow truck, and go all the way to the 14, head back 14, 5, 210, and I live in the San Gabriel Valley area. So luckily I had a AAA Premier, so I got 200-mile tows. And so something to consider if you have AAA. You might want to pay a little more to get the longer tows because you never know where you're going to break down. So yes, it sucked as an experience. And I hope none of you ever have to go through that. But think about that. If you guys ever break down, no phone reception, you're at the mercy of whoever wants to, pull over and help you out. Also, it was getting pretty warm that day. So if you have to walk it, man, middle of summer on those roads. So have water with you. One thing to consider too is maybe investing in a satellite phone. They're about $300. You pay like $10-15 a month, but it'll work anywhere, and you can call emergency services or they can pinpoint your location. Another thing to do that I learned from this is if you do break down and you don't know where you are, you're in the middle of the road, like how can I tell where on the road I am? Go on Google Maps and get a pinpoint location. You can see where you are on the map, press on it, and it'll give you GPS coordinates. And then that way, when you call AAA, you can give it to them or to the tow company, and they'll be able to see exactly where your car is, and they'll be able to find it. So do that, before you hitch a ride anywhere. Get the pinpoint GPS location of where your car is at. Really quick, one more side note. Please invest in a fire extinguisher. Whether you keep it in your trunk or buy a nice bracket like the one I have from the Bracketeer. It's a nice universal bracket. You can install it in a bunch of places in your car, usually on the seat mounts, just to have it at the ready. Because what blew on my car was the hydraulic clutch line. I went to go get a gear and the pedal went all the way down. But what happened is when the line burst, it sprayed the headers with fluid, and so it caused a small fire. So if I don't have that fire extinguisher, I didn't have water on me. Usually I have a Gatorade or an energy drink or something. I had nothing to put the fire out with, and it was a decent little flame going already. So if it wasn't for the fire extinguisher, my car would have had major damage or maybe even burned down to the ground. And then on top of that, to be responsible, maybe if you start like a wildfire, it could have been bad. So definitely buy a fire extinguisher and keep it in your car. I will never not have one in my cars from now on. At least a 2.5 pound ABC rated fire extinguisher. Even better if you get one that says auto or garage, but at least ABC so that it handles like oil and like gasoline type fires. But anyway, guys, that's what to expect just in case you break down up there. I hope it doesn't happen to you guys. If you do break down on Angeles Crest, and you have AAA and you can call them, maybe request Crescenta Valley Towing because they were great with me. If you're in Angeles Forest, maybe you can try to request them and see if you get lucky, but it was a nightmare. Now, if you have an accident and sheriff or CHP responds to where your car is, they have a contract with certain tow companies and they'll contact them, and so you'll get a tow that way. And the tow truck driver, if you're there, they'll ask you, do you want us to take it anywhere? You can tell them. If you're not there, let's say you got hurt and you're not there anymore or whatever, they'll tow it to their yard, and then you can get it from there later. Your insurance company can go get it. So that's how that works. But if you break down and you're on your own, one, you got to find somewhere to get phone reception and then deal with AAA. And from the other stories I've heard, you're going to be there a few hours. So I hope it don't happen to you guys, but you drive these roads long enough, it probably will. I've driven them 15 years as an actual canyon carver. 20 years. I've been driving those roads for 20 years. 15 years for fun. First time that I break down up there. So eventually it'll happen, and it might not be the last. So fingers crossed. Hope it doesn't happen. But I wanted to share my story with you guys. Anyway, car's down right now, but we'll be back on our road real soon. So I'll see you guys soon enough. Till then, stay safe, have fun. See you guys.